It is Saturday. We are live. I jumped on like a millisecond ago and then my phone just dropped connection. So I apologize for that, guys. But it is Saturday. It is time for the T3 Saturday Q&A. So let's go ahead, turn on all the chats so I can see who joins me. Hopefully people are here. M&M Gaming, Samuel, what is going on? I know people are going to ask. Yes, I have Vietnamese coffee. Beep boop, beep boop. James, certified T3 bot. What's going on? David Williams, certified T3 bot. Happy Saturday, Jordan. Heck yeah, guys, it's a beautiful day. It's actually really chilly here in LA, which is crazy. None of your business from Lebanon. What is going on, man? I love how he says Lebanon, Middle East, because there is actually a Lebanon, New Hampshire. Isn't that crazy? I grew up in New Hampshire and there was a Lebanon, New Hampshire. Palm Bear 23, Wyoming, Kenneth. Heck yeah. Oh, Cowboy Swami's in the building. That means the live has officially started. And Dean is in the live stream, which means it's officially over, guys. What's going on? I'm just kidding. So why don't we start off before we get to the questions, because I like to wait a little bit longer until we have at least 100 people in here to get to the questions. Let's go ahead and do a little wrist check, guys. What are you wearing on your wrist today? Today, let me flip the camera around over here. I'm wearing my Sarbo 6.5 Cocktail Time, and I know I'm going to get a ton of questions. This is a Hadley Roma ostrich leather strap. So yeah, heck yes. Love this. Dutch Shepherd says, where in New Hampshire did you grow up? I grew up in southern New Hampshire, a little town called Amherst. So, loved it over there, the Granite State. Eminem, thank you for the super chat. Unfortunately, it just shows the super chat, doesn't show me the question. So please, what is the question, Eminem? You said you had a question. You super chatted me. I want to get to you first. Cowboy Swami, thank you so much for the super chat. Cowboy Swami says, great video last night, loved it. Thank you so much, Cowboy. If you guys haven't seen last night's episode, I knew for a fact it was going to be pretty controversial. For those of you, my real ones, you guys, you jumped in with me on Thursday's live stream, because on Thursdays I do like a topic-based live stream. It's not really a Q&A, and that one's typically shorter. And then there was an audio playback error when it uploaded, and my mouth wasn't sunk up with the audio, and it was all grainy because I didn't have good service where I was, and blah 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 blah. So I just scrapped it, and I realized, you know what? This deserves like a full edited video. So I just jumped up on Friday and just got the rant off my chest, and I think it ended up better that way anyway. So but yeah, really controversial topic. Your Tudor is not Rolex, no matter how much you want it to be Rolex, because guess what? Tudors can be good on their own merits. Stop trying to compare it to something it's not. Patrick Taylor says he loves my channel. I love you, Patrick Taylor. Heck yes. Juice Man, Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos. Dust Shepherd grew up in Derry. Been to Derry a ton of times, man. Eminem, but please, David Williams says that there is a Lebanon in Missouri and Ohio. Yeah, there's probably a Missouri, or I'm sorry, there's probably a Lebanon in a lot of states now that I think about it. You know, there's like, I don't know if this is like incorrect trivia, if it's like an old wives' tale or like an urban legend, but I heard there is a Springfield in every state of the Union. How crazy is that? Peter Williams, yeah, the rain stopped finally, but it's still quite chilly. That's why I'm wearing my LL Bean, like, lined, insulated flannel here. Dino Steiner from Croatia. What's going on, man? I got some questions. Everybody, keep telling me what you're wearing, by the way. Pete's wearing a 1973 Omega Connie with a TV dial. Zeus 87's wearing a Hamilton Linwood. Malcolm, you didn't miss anything. We're literally just going over the wrist check right now. Brian LP, what's up? What is going on? Let's see. I want to see what else you guys. Ramiro Puente Jr. What is going on, man? Citizen Pro Master. Dean is wearing a Citizen Pro Master, so all lime limited edition. I don't know anything about that, but everybody in the comment section, you can go ahead and give Dean a hard time for wearing a Citizen Pro Master. James is wearing a 6105 Seiko. Armand R is wearing a Zelos Swordfish. Cowboy Swami is wearing a Hamilton khaki. Heck yeah, can't go wrong with a hammy on the wrist. Ooh, Dyna Boomer is wearing a Mark 1 Omega Dynamic. Heck yeah, guys. So, okay, I'm already getting some good questions here. Let me see. Just looking up the questions. Someone's wearing a Starbo 33. Milcom's wearing a Starbo 33. Brian's wearing a SKX 009 on a Super Oyster. Caleb Allen's wearing a G-Shock. Heck yeah, guys. Nam Anor is wearing, he's asking me what the weather, tongue-tied. He's asking me what the weather is like in Los Angeles. We just had a big rainstorm, but it's cleared up and sunny right now, but it's actually quite chilly out. It's probably I'm gonna make myself sound like a wuss right now, but it's cold for Los Angeles. It's probably in the like low 60s right now, and that's like really chilly for us here, and it's like windy out. But I'm a New Hampshire boy, okay? I'm a New England boy, so I understand that it can get much colder in other areas of the world. John Kenworthy from Cornwall, UK. Heck yeah. Okay, guys, so we're well past 100 people in the stream right now. So let's go ahead and get started with the questions. Why not, guys, right? That's why we're here. Dean, you already said lime, dude. You already said it was an all lime limited edition dial. So we're gonna give you a hard time for that now. I'm more of a cherry flavored guy, but if you prefer lime, that's because cherry is like the super limited edition Pro Master. Not that I'm a Citizen guy, but okay. But I digress. Let's get to the questions, guys. 4:44 p.m. What's going on, Nate? So everybody that writes to me on Instagram that asks me about Seiko modding, that's the dude that I recommend to literally everyone. I will not take your watch and start tooling on it myself, okay? I would feel much more comfortable for you to send it to him, and he's fairly local to me. He's in Orange County, I'm in Los Angeles. We're probably like less than an hour away from each other, but yeah, that's the dude. Check him out on Instagram. Does great work. Little shout out for him right there. So, okay, one last thing, and then I promise we're gonna start getting to the questions. Brian LP asks if people are freaking out on the roads as usual. Well, here's the deal. In Los Angeles, people are terrible drivers 24/7. Okay, people just are inconsiderate and unaware on the road. I think everybody all over the world complains about people in their city driving though, but Los Angeles, there's just a ton of people on the road. When it gets a tiny bit wet, people do not know what to do, all right? Thankfully, a day before we got a ton of rain, I picked this baby up. A 2019 STI Limited 6-speed all-wheel drive, obviously. And dude, I didn't even know that it was raining out. It's crazy. I just needed to brag a little bit because I'm really excited. I'm still definitely in the honeymoon stage of that car, but we can talk a little bit more about that later. So, okay, questions, guys. Questions. Let's get to the questions. Which watch next? Is a 2.5 turbo? Yes, it has the new EJ engine. So it is a 2.5 with they bumped it up 5 horsepower, guys. It has 310 horsepower this time. I know everybody complains, oh, they don't change the STIs enough. Dude, they don't need to, okay? I think it's just a total purist car, man. Sean T, another question. Where'd you get those glasses? These are Warby Parkers. I have no affiliation with them, although I would love to do a campaign with them because I honestly love their business model and I love their products. But Warby Parker, you can get frames and lenses. Okay, so if you have your prescription, like you go to your ophthalmologist or your optometrist and you get your prescription, You can go to Warby Parker or their website, I believe, and put in your prescription. You can pick lenses and frames for less than $100. Crazy, right? And I was the dude that I used to go to like Lens Crafters and spend over like $400 on one pair. But now every time I go, I pick up like 2 pairs of lenses and frames, and I've spent like maybe $200, not even. It's just crazy. So yeah, I get a lot of questions about my glasses, believe it or not. So these are Warby Parker, and on Instagram I always tag them because I get so many questions about my glasses. So yeah, and guys, this is why Saturdays are so fun, because we can talk about things that aren't necessarily watch related as well. David Gershaw says, see my question. Okay, I'm gonna scroll up so I can, let me see. I'm trying to find David's question. Okay, David asks, do you have to keep your automatic watches winding in those machines? I see them on eBay for sale, and I'm wondering if it's damaging to let the watch sit idle. Short answer is no, you don't have to use a watch winder at all. In fact, there is a bitter feud between watch winder users and watch winder haters. So I actually made 2 episodes on watch winders, one fairly recently. I believe it's everything you need to know about watch winders. And I suggest you watch that episode because I go over why I use watch winders. Now, I don't keep all of my automatics on watch winders because I would have to spend a lot of money on watch winders, and I would rather use that money towards more watches. But I have some watches strategically placed on watch winders, and in that episode I explained to you why. I think I have a little lint in my beard, my bad, that happens from time to time. The truth is, if you have a healthy functioning watch that is healthy enough to wear daily, then a watch winder will not hurt your watch. If you have a very fragile vintage automatic that is not maintained properly, then a watch winder may hurt your watch, and guess what? Wearing it daily probably would hurt that watch. So my rule of thumb is if your watch isn't healthy enough to wear daily, then it's probably not healthy enough to put on a winder. But all the watches I have on the winder are properly maintained, and in fact, I believe keeping them running is actually better for the longevity of those watches. But yeah, that's just my thing. DJ Jones, why did you drive your Subaru on Jeep Day? Yeah, good question. Number one, because I just got it and I want to put more miles on it because I'm trying to get past the break-in period so that I can actually rip on it. And number two, because I wasn't really thinking of Jeep Day. I'm a huge Jeep enthusiast, but when I'm bombing around on the highway to get to different parts of Los Angeles, the Jeep is not my ideal pick because I don't know if you've seen that thing. I've had it in a few episodes, but that thing is built up and the gears are super low, and it is not my favorite thing to drive on the highway. So the Jeep is my baby, love that thing, but not a great daily driver, and that's why I have other cars for the daily driver. James with the super chat, thank you so much for the super chat and supporting the channel. He says, before Rolex was considered luxury, it had a reputation of making excellent tool and sport watches. What is the modern day equivalent to Rolex circa 50s and 80s? Well, I see what you're saying, but I'm this isn't a cop-out, but here's the deal. I think they still have a reputation. I think Rolex still has a reputation of making really good tool watches. You just have to be man enough to wear those watches you've spent a lot of money on as a tool watch if you so choose, right? I have no qualms wearing my Submariner out and about. I have no qualms wearing my GMT, or my Explorer 2 out and about. It just doesn't bother me. I know they're solid watches, and I know they're well maintained. You guys, if you're a regular viewer of my channel, you know I really don't baby my watches at all. What would be, I'm trying to figure out what you mean by what would be the equivalent of Rolex from the 50s. Like, what's a really solid tool watch manufacturer that's known for making like incredibly solid tool and sports watches? Well, guys, this is gonna bother you because it's my other favorite brand, but it's Seiko. I think Seiko has a huge catalog of incredible sports watches, but people write them off because, oh, it's Seiko, everyone loves Seikos. Yeah, well, yeah, but I know it's a cop-out because I'm jumping from one of my favorite brands to the other, but that's a good question. It's a difficult question. I may have to think about that a little bit more. Joseph Stewart says, what about G-Shock? In reference to that question, I mean, so it's kind of assumptive to say that Rolex only made tool watches in the 50s, because that's not the case at all. In fact, well before that, they were predominantly making smaller, dressier watches. It's just that in the 50s, like, the idea of a sports watch was brought mainstream. It was kind of conceptualized. So I'm trying to think. So if we're gonna assume that Rolex from the 50s was only sports watches, which is not the case, then what would the modern day equivalent be of a company that's only sports watches or only tool watches? Then I guess, yeah, G-Shock. G-Shock is pretty much only a tool watch, right? And I think G-Shock is the best tool watch in the world, but I'm gonna blow your mind. I don't think Rolex is the best tool watch in the world. I would rather wear my Seiko Tuna for if I needed like an absolute tool watch, or honestly, I would rather wear a G-Shock if I needed an absolute tool watch. Someone's asking about the STI manual gearbox. I don't think they make the STIs in automatic. I could be wrong. I was doing a bunch of research looking at them, obviously before I bought one, and I couldn't even find one in automatic, but I would never even look for one in an automatic. But I mean, in my searching around, I've never heard of a STI in an automatic. But yeah, the only cars I currently own are actually all 6 speeds. They're all 6-speed manuals. Let's see. That was a good question, man. That was a difficult question. Spencer L, what's crack-a-lackin'? What's going on? Oh, Kondo with the super chat. Thank you. He says, just wanted to show my support. Love the channel. Keep it up. Thank you so much, man. That means a lot. Seriously. Helps me out so much. Thank you. Someone asked me, I think way up. Someone asked me about McDonald's or Burger King. I really like Whoppers, guys. I'm gonna be honest, if it comes down to it. But like McDonald's fries, man. So I don't know. Let me see. I'm scrolling up to see more questions and comments, guys. Ildefonso Garcia Correa Suarez says, Jory, why do you see here's the deal he says, Jory, why do you say here's the deal so much? Well, I didn't realize I did, but here's the deal. I'm a deal maker. So that's probably why I say that. Brian LP, a certified T3 bot, asks, Jory, if Grand Seiko is the Lexus of watches, so okay, with these types of questions, you're asking me to assume certain things. So okay, if we're going to assume for this hypothetical that Grand Seiko is the Lexus of watches, Rolex the Mercedes, and Panerai the Maserati, then what would the BMW and Porsche of watches be? Okay, so you're going brand to brand, and I understand the equivalence because you're trying to make it congruent, so you're going to compare a car manufacturer to a watch manufacturer, but I look at it actually a bit different. I compare watch models to car models. So, for instance, when you bring up Porsche of watches, I honestly think the Submariner, like a stainless steel sports watch, is the Porsche of watches, because a 911 specifically, right? A naturally aspirated rear wheel drive manual gearbox purist 911, that's kind of the stainless steel Rolex, because it's just like a real bare bones enthusiast's watch. Lexuses are impressive, don't get me wrong, but for some reason I feel like Grand Seiko, with what they produce, is a lot more refined and a lot more, I don't want to say scarce, but it's definitely a lot less common than anything Lexus puts out. So I can't agree that Lexus is, like, I think the hypothetical is flawed. I don't really think Lexus is equivalent to Grand Seiko, aside from being like a higher end Japanese brand. Like, they're both Japanese, I guess, but that's it. Reshki, certified T3 bot, what's going on? Christian M with a really good question. When do you think Vacheron will come back into popularity as much as Patek? So I kind of touched upon this in the last stream. I said, out of the Holy Trinity, excuse me, Vacheron is kind of not in the mainstream. And I almost like it because, again, out of the Holy Trinity, my longtime viewers will know, out of the Holy Trinity, Vacheron is my favorite for sure. And I love Vacheron not for their sports watches. Although I do like the overseas, I'm not a huge overseas fanatic. Now here's the deal. When will Vacheron break into the mainstream? It's once their sports watch gets as big as the Patek Nautilus or the AP Royal Oak, right? Because for some reason, and I think it has to do with the glitz and the glam and the flashiness, sports watches are what dictate the popularity of a brand, okay? Not necessarily to watch enthusiasts, but to the mainstream, and we're talking about the mainstream. The reason AP is so prevalent is because the Royal Oak got big. The reason Patek is so prevalent in songs and pop culture now is because the Nautilus has become very prevalent. It's only a matter of time until the overseas becomes as prevalent. So when will it break into the mainstream? Whenever the mainstream discovers the overseas, the Vacheron overseas. Jurapusi JP says, that's a funny name, says, answer my questions, my dude. I have a lot of people writing to me. It's nothing personal. Ask it again. Ask it again, please. Conda says, Toyota 86 or Subaru BRZ. Gonna drop a bomb here, guys. I don't really like that body style. It's incredibly common, especially putting around here in LA. I see those a lot. It's fun for a little, like a little 4-cylinder 2-door rear-wheel drive. You can get it in stick shift. I'm sure it's a really fun car. I've sat in one in a showroom before, and I couldn't even fit into it. So that was already kind of a strike against it in my book. Like, I literally could not even get into it. So that was kind of a bummer. But between the Toyota or the Subaru variant, it bothers me that there's not enough differentiation between those products. Like, I wish, for instance, TRD would come out with one that, you know, isn't just a body kit and some tuned springs. Like, I wish Toyota would release an actual TRD variant that had something big in it to differentiate it, to separate it. I wish that STI would come out with like an all-wheel drive Turbo 4. you know, they keep toying with it in concepts, but will it ever come to production? Who knows? But once they do that, then I'll have an answer for you. Joyopuki says, let's boost the likes. Heck yeah, guys, there's 175 people here on this beautiful Saturday. There's only 30 likes. Get it up. Cowboy with the super chat. Love you, bro. Thank you so much. Okay, so he asks a really interesting question. He says, does Rolex own Eigler? What if they expand to others? So this was not a recent development that I mentioned that people were, I think, I'm not speaking for Cowboy because him and I have conversed a little bit on Instagram and stuff. He's definitely a knowledgeable dude. So I'm not going to say he is one of the people that was mind blown, but a lot of people, after I did a little history segment on my last episode, my yesterday episode, people were kind of mind blown because I did a brief kind of summary of the history between Rolex and their movements. And so people, one of my first episodes ever, I mentioned how Rolex has in-house movements, and I had a few people writing to me being like, oh, well, technically Rolex doesn't have in-house movements. They never did until recently, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not true. The fact is that way back when, like almost at the like birth of Rolex, Rolex had a relationship with Eigler watch movements, and they liked their work so much that they set up an actual business agreement. It wasn't just, you know, a handshake. It was an actual legal binding relationship, to where Eigler could not produce any movements for any other company. I think before that they were doing independent stuff, but they stopped producing any independent stuff, and they were only making movements for Rolex up until, you know, like throughout history is what I'm trying to get at. So do they own Eigler? For all intents and purposes, probably yes. What if they expand to other companies? I don't think they would. I don't think they legally could. So that's why I say that it's pretty much in-house. Rolex has in-house movements with Eigler. It's essentially just like you can't even really consider outsourced at this point, because they can only do it for you. They can only make the movements for you. Happy Meal or Whopper Jr.? That's a great question. Although I said I like the Whopper, like I would prefer a Whopper over a Big Mac. But if it's between Happy Meal or Whopper Jr., Happy Meal. WV David R says, do you think the Apple Watch will kill off all of the non-luxury brands? I don't think so. Call me a romantic. Here's the deal, guys, okay? I want to believe that there are purists out there and there are enthusiasts out there, okay? There's 183 people in here right now. Not all of us are wearing luxury watches right now. I'm wearing a Sarbo 6.5. I think this is one of the most impressive watches anyone can own in any price range. Guys, I have Rolexes, you know that. I have, you know, sub $100 Seiko 5s. I still think this is one of the most impressive watches in my collection. Now, here's the deal, okay? I want to believe that people like us, the enthusiasts, the watch enthusiasts of the world, will still buy non-luxury watch. We'll still buy non-luxury, non-smart watches, all right? HH has a really interesting thing. He says, people in the future will be dripping Teslas and wearing Apple Watches, times are changing, Jetsons. Excuse me. Which brings me to my next point. People have been saying this about modern technology since the dawn of time. Although things are happening exponentially faster and faster and faster, the truth is there's always going to be groups of people that still like doing it. I mean, call us stubborn, right? But look at our parents. Like my dad called me 2 nights ago to tell me that my mom's new iPhone wasn't getting text messages. Okay, obviously it was, but some setting was off, so I had to troubleshoot the issue and fix their phone over the phone, right? Some people still like writing in pen, cursive, handwritten letters and sending them snail mail. That's fine, okay? So what I'm trying to say is Teslas, although they will be much more prevalent in the future, I think that they are on the cutting edge and they are going to be making pretty much the next consumer car. I still think there's going to be a group of enthusiasts that want to drive the internal combustion engine. Again, call me stubborn, call me a romantic, but the watch community isn't all that big, guys. We're already a pretty small group, so I think we'll do just fine in the future. Sorry for that little rant. James, certified T3 bot, says, what's your thoughts on Piaget? I love Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, one worn by Steve Martin. They're a really cool, artsy company. They have a boutique here in Beverly Hills. I love popping in and looking around because, again, that watch that was like the thinnest mechanical watch ever that they released, not in 2018, but I believe it was 2017 Basel World. Could have been 2018 Basel World. But they are very ambitious as well, and I appreciate that, and very artsy. They make some beautiful watches. Haven't seen one that I personally want. Milcom says I missed his super chat. I'm sorry, I found it though. Thank you so much for the super chat, Milcom. I think I was on that little rant I just had. He says, how important is accuracy to you? How much time plus or minus would make you return a watch? It's a great question. So accuracy is fairly important when it comes to watches, right? Especially if you're using them to tell time, guys. But here's the deal. And I just said here's the deal again. But that's an easy segue to say I'm about to answer the question right now. It's not the most important thing to me, because if I want the most accurate watch in the world, I'm just going to get a movement, because Alpha M said that movements, one of the reasons MVMT watches are better than Rolex is because they're more accurate than Rolex, guys. No, but honestly, if I need like supreme accuracy, it's going to be with one of my quartz watches, right? Like that's what's gonna happen. With any mechanical watch, you need to have some leeway. Okay, people get upset when their watch is like plus or minus 5 seconds a day. I think people get too crazy with all these certifications. Do I think chronometer ratings are cool? Yeah, I think it's really cool. Is it impressive? Yeah. Does your watch need to have one? No. Because my SKX that I've had for years is still running within COSC standards. So what would make me return a watch? That's a difficult question, because I have yet to experience that. I have yet to own a watch that has been so inaccurate that I've had to return it. I've had watches run slow that have made me want to go get it regulated and stuff, and so maybe, oh man, it's a hard question, because I don't want to throw out too large of a number, because then I feel like maybe if it was less, I'd still get upset with it. I don't know, man. That's a difficult question. Here's my answer. You need, everyone has everyone has a threshold to what they're comfortable with when it comes to accuracy, but your watch does need to maintain some form of consistency. As long as you're okay with that, as long as you wear it enough to understand where it's running, then that's fine. And if you're wearing a mechanical watch, you need to understand it's never going to be as accurate as a quartz. So give it some leeway. Someone asks, BMW, Mercedes, or Audi? Mercedes, easily. Ramiro, everyone have a good weekend. Peace. All right, later, bro. Mark Bronson says there's something to be said for doing things the old-fashioned way. I agree, man. I agree. Conda says throwing shade. I see. No, I'm not throwing shade at all, because I'm literally reiterating what another person said. So by me reiterating Alpha M verbatim, you can't really take that as me throwing shade when the words, I'm just repeating his words. So, but that should show you how ridiculous that is. And then here, do you guys want to know the worst part about this? I'm going to blow your mind. This is a funny topic, and I'm going to make an episode about this because I've been really gathering my thoughts. I didn't want to be the first person to jump out with this because I really wanted to think about what I wanted to say. Alpha M did one of the worst things you can do. All right. He did what he did with the 5 reasons Movement is better than Rolex video. He probably got paid by Movement. Okay, we're not stupid. Is it the worst thing in the world that a company paid him? No, I'm not even knocking him for that, because as I said before, when you have a channel that has like almost 5 million subscribers like he did, that's probably your main source of income. All right, I get that. So you're gonna make business deals to make money, because the fact is YouTube, right, Google doesn't pay you all that much to be on YouTube. So that's his livelihood. I get it. You make business deals, you do sponsorships. Now, where it turns bad is if your sponsorships become dishonest, right? You can get paid to put out a piece of content, but that piece of content needs to be 100% honest. That's what I built this channel on, is just blunt honesty. So, okay, he made that episode. It was pretty clearly a sponsored piece of content, but do you want to know the worst part about it? You know, the worst thing he could have done, and that he did, is that he has another channel that's substantially smaller than his current channel. It's like his secondary. I think it's more of like a vloggy channel. He made an episode on that tiny channel claiming that, oh, it was just a joke, guys. It was just a joke, essentially. I got so much backlash from this. It's just a joke, guys. Oh my God, dude, that makes, it's gonna make people, okay. First of all, last time I checked, that MVMT video he made has 17,000 dislikes and I think like 4,000 likes. 17,000 dislikes to 4,000 likes. I've made some bad episodes. I have not even gotten a negative dislike from that. Okay? I haven't even had that much of a negative ratio. Granted, he has a lot more viewers than me. He's clearly doing something right on his channel, okay? I'm not he's clearly a good content creator. He has over 4 million subscribers, so I'm not taking anything away from him. All I'm saying is that if you're going to put out a piece of content, the worst thing you can do is try to backpedal, and then not even on your main channel, on your smaller channel, just to try to maybe save face. It's just, part of being a man is just owning up to, like, I would have respected him a lot more if he came out and he was like, yo, I got paid a whole lot to say that, guys. Like, if you saw that check, you might cut me some slack, guys. Like, if he just said that, I'd be like, yeah, well, yeah, none of us really cared about what you were saying anyway, so you're just getting paid. But instead, he's like, guys, it was just a joke. My God, that's the worst. But yeah, that's, you know, whatever. That's all I have to say about that. HH says, this is the best YouTuber. No one talks like this to viewers. Hey man, I might not have 4 million subscribers like Alpha M, but I have each and every one of you guys, and that makes me just as happy. So it would be silly for me to try to build this community and then like refuse or not care enough to be part of it. I think that's really weird. It's like I am clearly attempting to connect with you guys and build like a little area of the watch community for myself. Not joining in on the conversation seems kind of pointless after that, right? Come on. Spencer says 70 likes? Lame. Yeah, guys, come on. Let's get the likes up to at least 100, guys. Let's be real. Blake Stewart says, do you still like your Panerai? Yeah, man. Love it. Love it. I just have so many watches to wear that, like, I go through weird phases. So right now, Blake, I'm really into, like, a field watchy. Like a field watchy, rugged phase. So, like, I'm putting on, I'm wearing my Explorer 2 a lot. Believe me, people on Instagram are like, stop wearing it. So I'm wearing my Explorer 2 a lot, which is technically a field watch. I'm wearing my Hamilton khaki field mechanical a lot. I put that on a leather NATO strap, a leather American made series single piece Zulu from Crown and Buckle. I've been wearing my Boulder Expedition, and I've been wearing, it's actually really funny. I've been wearing my Seiko Tuna, the SBBN 031, but I took it off of its bracelet and I put it on old military style single piece Zulu. So that's been kind of like a field watch too. I know, it's weird. It's weird, but I don't know about you guys. I go through like cycles, you know what I mean? So like, next month I could be like super into dress watches. I've gone through that phase as well. Pretty much been through every phase in watch collecting, like really into Pilot's watches, really into chronographs. So who knows what tomorrow brings, guys. But I mean, yeah, field watches for now though. I mean, I'm wearing like a dressy watch right now, but for the most part I've been thinking all about my field watches though. Francisco says, what happened to your Seiko Alpinist? Is it okay? No, man, I got rid of it. I'm just kidding, dude. I would never get rid of it. Yeah, I've been wearing that one too. Love that watch, man. It's one of my favorite watches, man. I'm never getting rid of that one. WV David R says, Hamilton are good tool watches for a decent price. And I agree with that 100%. David Katz says, let's have another look at your cocktail time. Gladly, guys. So again, this is the cocktail time. This is the Sarbo 6.5 with the 6R movement. Hedley Roma ostrich leather strap. One of the most comfortable straps I own, to be honest, is when it comes to leather straps. It has enough padding, but it's very, very supple at the same time. You know, when some watch companies make padded straps, they become very stiff. This is not that way. It's still very supple and soft. I'm not sure if that's a characteristic inherently in ostrich leather, but this just feels amazing. Jack Laporte says, are Sarbo 17 not being made anymore? Nope, they are not. They are not, unfortunately. Jory Garcia Correa says, Jory, a dress watch with a date for my dad for around $500. Let me think about that. You know, I'd say Orient Bambino, but I don't know about quartz. Oh, I forgot to say, here's the deal. You know what I would look at, honestly? I would look at something from like Tissot or something from Swatch Group, like Mito or Tissot. They definitely offer a quartz with a date, dressy, everyday type piece. So I'd check that out. Check out something at the Time Teller shop. Who knows? You might find something. HH asks, Patek or Rolex? This should be an easy question, HH. What are my 2 favorite companies, guys? List them. I want to hear them. What are my 2 favorite companies in the world? Christian Sylvester, boom, got it. Valen, boom, got it. Captain Shanners, boom, got it. James, boom. 2 James in a row, got it. Mendez, got it. Garcia Correa, got it. Ant G, you are blocked. He says Invicta and Movement. Yeah, dude, all you guys rock. Cowboy, I'm not gonna block Cowboy, but he's in timeout now. He says Daniel Wellington and Movement. Yeah, my 2 favorite watch manufacturers in the world are Rolex and Seiko. So between Patek and Rolex, it's got to be Rolex then. Are there Pateks that I like? Yes. Is the Nautilus one of them? No. Is the Aquanaut one of them? No. Faith S with a great question, Faith. Do I like the new 992? No. Not until I see one up close. I'm gonna go to the LA Auto Show and take a look. I'm sure they'll have one there, but no. Do I like the new 992? I don't get it, dude. Once Porsche made the Panamera, they're like, oh cool, let's just turn every one of our cars into a freaking huge boat sedan. What the heck, Porsche? That's the reason there's a huge bubble with vintage Porsches, because everyone wants a 911 that has 911 dimensions. God. Well, see, now I'm in a bad mood. It's not your fault. You didn't know that this would put me in a bad mood. Ray Q, certified T3 bot. What's going on, man? But I'm in a bad mood, man, because the 992, every 911, you know, the 993 was amazing. Then the 996 came out, still decently sized, right? The 993, or I'm sorry, the 996. Still, Andrew says air-cooled Porsches. Yeah, well, 993 was it, man. After that, no more air-cooled Porsches for us. But 993, great dimensions, wide in the hips still. You know, great muscular, like stout stance. 996 came out, nimble, water cooled, but nimble. And then after the 996, I was like, wait. 997 comes out. I'm like, okay, well, this is not bad. And then 991, and I'm like, wait. No, and then 991.2, and I'm like, wait, no, and then they're like 992, and I'm like, oh god. They're just making boats, guys. These aren't 911s anymore. They're just freaking boats. So yeah, but I'm not gonna sweat about it, because guess what? I have a brand new STI Limited, so I'm happy. I know people are going to be like, oh, but the STI is a 4-door. It's a big sedan. Yeah, but it wasn't ever a 911, guys. 911s were meant to be small. So, but yeah, just bought a 2019 STI Limited, 6-speed manual. I love it. First STI with 6-piston brake calipers, guys, from Brembo. Hell yes. Drilled rotors. Love it, guys. Recaro seats. Love it, guys. Seriously, amazing. Milcom, how many watches do you own? I get asked this every day. Too many, and then still not enough, so. Aunt G, thoughts on Ariana Grande? I don't really like much of her music. I don't follow her much. Trying to think of The last song I heard from her was I think it is fairly recent. It's like, God is a woman. Okay, I just got this question. This is a really hard question. Would you wear an Invicta if it was a gift? I'm about to pull my beard off and trying to think of this question. Around that person, yes. I would take one for the team and wear it around that person. Martin Schwartz asks, are you a Jew? 100%. If you got a problem, we can talk about it. Proud of it. James says, I see an Invicta coming Jory's way. Francisco Rosa. Okay, no one answer this question. No one answer Francisco's question, because he says, is the SKX overrated? I made a video talking about it. Tell him to watch the video. Okay, no one answer it. Tell him to watch the video. I talk about both sides of the debate there. You can come to your own conclusion. I play both sides, and I let you come to the conclusion yourself. I'm so sorry. I believe it's some Korean characters. Asks domed crystal box or flat, etc., etc. I think it depends on the watch, my man, to be honest. For instance, some of the vintage, like I'm talking old, like pre-70s, or like 70s Rolex sports watches, I think they look really cool with those big box crystals. I think they look really cool with box cut crystals. Some watches like the Seiko Tuna, I think look amazing with that double domed crystal. So I like all of it. It depends a lot on the watch though. Oh, he says, I'm from Germany, just using the phone from my girl. Well, 안녕하세요. And 감사합니다 for the question. 감사합니다. What watch should I gift my brother who's in the army? He's already got a G-Shock. I'm thinking Luminox. Guys, sound off in the comment section. I think another G-Shock, to be honest, or a Luminox, but I think he's probably going to get more use out of a G-Shock, because those are honestly tougher than Luminox even. So, or you know what? Superion Gamer said maybe Hamilton. Dude, I actually kind of agree with that. I think it'd be cool to maybe give him, depending on your budget, it might be cool to give him that Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical 38mm, the reissue, because that's kind of harkening back to the original Hamilton military hack watch. So that might be cool. It wouldn't be one that he'd wear, you know, in the field, but I think that'd be cool to give him a piece of his own history. You know what I mean? And by the way, thank him for me, and thank you for being in a military family. Thanks for serving the country and allowing us to do what I do here. It's because of those badasses that I get to live this privileged life, just talking about watches. Philip asks, how to deal with watch buying impulses. Man, I struggle with this every moment. It's a day-by-day thing, man. It's a day-by-day thing. D12 says Zelos or Boulder. I think they both make solid watches, but I think I prefer Boulder out of both of those brands. Cowboy with another great question. Thank you for the super chat. He says, who do you think makes the best mechanical movement and why? Honestly, probably Grand Seiko. Simply because they're incredibly accurate. They're very inventive and innovative with the complications they put on, and their attention to detail when it comes to finishing is hands down like leaps and bounds above others. So Yeah, honestly, I think Grand Seiko, but that's a really hard question because I could probably come up with like 5 of my favorites. Aunt G said, wow, he had to SC twice to get a response, ... Let's see. Super chat? He had to super chat twice to get a response? Well, Aunt G, I've answered a few of your questions and acknowledged you multiple times, and you haven't super chatted me. So I don't expect super chats at all, and I think the majority of people here will agree that I answer as many as I can. There's 193 people in here, and the comments are literally, it looks like a credit screen. They're like flying up on my end. So I get to who I can get to. But I don't know if you can see it the way I see it, but super chats show up in big bold windows, and it is rude to not respond to those when they do. So I apologize to anyone who I don't get to. There's not a preferential system here, but yeah. You know what I don't like though are people who are passive aggressive because I rub them the wrong way or something. It's bizarre. Aunt G, if you don't like my content or you don't like these live streams, then feel free not to join in. Captain Shanner says, let's all buy Jory another iced coffee. I'm good to go. I'm halfway. Garcia Correa says, Jory, the super chat is super fast. I think we can all see it. Exactly. So, yeah, guys, I'm getting to everyone as quickly as I can. Please be calm. Also, Cowboy doesn't need to super chat me for him to answer his questions. I have some rapport with him. We're Instagram buddies. Andrew says, Jory, don't worry, bro. Doing great. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. That fellow there says, hit the like button. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Conda with a super chat says, if there were to be a company to take over Seiko, who would it be? I don't think there would be. Okay, I think people underestimate how huge of a company Seiko is. The full name of Seiko is Seiko Epson Corporation. So you know Epson, that makes like all the electronic and like commercial products? Yeah, Seiko has their hands in that too. So if any company were to take over Seiko Epson, it would have to be an enormous company. I couldn't even fathom that. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody could. WV David says, is the government going to stop the time radio signal? So NIST, which is the National Institute for Standards and Technology, they came out with a statement probably like 4 months ago, maybe 6 months ago, and they said that due to funding, the government radio signals may shut off in 2019. So yeah, that's looking like that's gonna happen, guys. Garcia says, Movement and Alpha M will join forces and buy Seiko. Oh my God. That would be the worst day of my life. Spencer L says, good question. I heard about the radio towers being shut down. Thoughts, Jory? When that came out, when that information came out, I got so many messages about it. I actually did a live stream about that. And I'm going to say what I said then. I never saw the value of paying extra for the radio band regulation, you know what I mean? Because I understand how bureaucratic government runs things. You know, like, how smooth and efficient is the DMV, guys? Do you want to go there with your free time? No, you don't. You never want to go. You know, meter maids, parking enforcement. How smooth and efficient is that? It never is. No government-run organization is like terribly smooth or pleasant to deal with, right? And I'm not trying to get political. I'm just like, I'm not speaking from any side of the aisle. I'm just saying how it is. Like, when I have free time, I'm not like, hey, you know what'd be fun? Let's spend half my day at the DMV. So what I'm trying to get at is, like, I don't know why I would want to spend extra only to have the watch I buy reliant on a government funded organization like NIST. I don't see the value in that, especially when the same models that are not radio controlled are typically like 3 times less expensive. Being says, Jory, he's a T3 certified T3 bot, by the way. Can Movado rescue its rep, or is it gone forever? You know what? I see myself as an optimist. I think it could, but the current ownership is going to have to go. If they start releasing watches like mechanical watches like they did pre-1980s, they could. Now, I don't like museum watches, period. So even the original museum watch from like the 40s I didn't like, but if they made watches like pre-1980s mechanical sports watches and stuff, I think they could, man. Do I think it's gonna happen? Probably not. But is it possible? Yeah. That would be cool, man, but I don't think so. Philip English and someone else. Philip English and someone. It happens every live stream. Philip English and one other person asked what I do for a living. Guys, again, sound off in the comment section. I seriously need to make a shirt and hat that has that quote on it. Guys, sound off in the comment section. What does the time teller do for a living? Ash Singh says, love from India. You need to visit. Man, I'd love to. Especially after interacting with all you guys, I realize there's a lot of places in the world that I need to discover and visit. People are asking how to contact me. You can find me at _simple_consultant. So The Simple Consultant on Instagram. Easiest way to contact me. Comment, write to me. I get hundreds and hundreds of messages a day, but I spend the time and try to get back to you as quickly as possible, guys. Please don't take it personally if it takes a while. But that is honestly the most effective way to get in touch with me. Ray says he's a secret agent. Trucho80 says, how do you feel about Tudor? See my last video that I uploaded yesterday. James says, professional deadlifter. Heck yeah. Dude, heck yeah. Yeah, so everyone's joking. I'm a business consultant. I need to make a shirt and a hat that says, I'm a business consultant, because it's like an inside joke on the channel at this point. So what does a business consultant do? Well, I think there's a spectrum of what you can do. You can do things like general consulting, where you analyze a business and you look at it and you tell them what they could be doing better to run smoothly in general. There's consultants that focus on sales. There's like front end, back end. There's consultants that focus on marketing heavily. There's and like campaign management, ad management, we're talking about advertising. Typically, and especially what I started out doing, was focusing on ad campaigns and copywriting and sales. So we're looking at actually taking products to market, assessing where they are in the market space, and seeing how efficient and effectively we can interact with the client base and actually close deals. That's kind of a simplified explanation of what I do. Brian LP with the super chat says, "What watch would the beard wear?" Tuna. Mook Rage. 01 and Walker says, "I'm geeking out over Helm watches. Buddy says Zelos is better. What are your thoughts?" Well, I have experience with Zelos watches. They're solid. I don't have any experience whatsoever. Like, I've never even seen one in person with Helm. So until I can get hands-on with them, I don't want to make a comment. Now, just because I haven't owned something doesn't mean I don't have experience with it, right? People get on my case because they're like, "Oh, you always talk about Tag. You always talk about Tag Heuer, but you don't have any, you never owned one." Yeah, but I have a lot of experience. I've worn them, I've handled them, I've played around with them. Helm I've never even worn. So I need to get a little bit more experience, especially when I'm making comparisons. So Pride FC fan says, "Love the content, Jory. Keep it up." Thanks, man. God bless. Ashish Singh says, "Tips for developing a YouTube channel from scratch." I have a lot of tips on this. A very simplified version will be, no matter what you do, no matter what content you create, no matter what platform you're using, and in this case we're talking about YouTube, upload consistently. I mean, hyper consistently. People get scared. In business, we talk about overexposure. That's a very old school belief of overexposure, that you're giving too much, you're interacting too frequently. That doesn't exist. Okay, nowadays people want this, very fast, very fast, very fast. And they want a ton. People can't consume enough content, right? I mean, how often are you guys on your phones? A lot, probably. I know I'm attached at the hip to my phone. So, and I'd like to think I'm a big content creator, but I will be the first one to admit I consume even more content than I create. And so the thing is you gotta believe that you gotta be hyper consistent with your posting, with whatever content you create. You gotta be incredibly honest with whatever you do, whatever genre you're in, whatever content you're creating. You need to be very passionate, because humans, when they're driving, they're very unaware. When they're walking down the street, they're very unaware. But there's these intangibles, there's these animal instincts that people can't really turn off. And it's this intuition that people can unconsciously, subconsciously pick up on, and they can tell, most people can tell deep down if you're passionate about what you're talking about and if you're honest about what you're talking about, and you need to tap into that. So if you're not honest and you're not passionate with whatever you're doing, this doesn't just have to be for YouTube, it's with anything. Other humans will pick up on that, and they won't want to buy or buy into whatever you're saying or selling. On the flip side of that, if you are passionate and if you are honest with whatever you're doing, people will tap into that, and guess what? They'll want to be around you. They'll want to interact with you. And that's the whole point of this channel. I'm very passionate about what I talk about. I'm very honest with what I'm talking about. And look, I've met a whole bunch of friends with you guys. So, yeah, honesty, passion, and consistency. And those are honestly 3 keys to building anything, period. But definitely when we're applying it to like a business or social media. Yeah. John Villa says, I just ordered the Hamilton, I assume, khaki field mechanical no date version, but I'm still very split if it was the right decision compared to getting the automatic version. Do you think I made the right choice? Well, John, I literally made an episode comparing those two exact reference numbers, the no date mechanical and the automatic. So please go to my channel. I uploaded the episode, I believe, last month. So, I literally, like, it's crazy. Those two Hamilton khakis, I compared. So you gotta watch that episode. Francisco, do you like Timex? You never seem to talk about them. Well, I recommend them in some episodes, but I'm not a huge Timex guy. Just like I'm not really a Citizen guy. It's not that I dislike them. They're not my cup of tea. Christian M, would you rather Seiko upgrade their bracelets or movements in their entry-level pieces? Movements, no. I want to say like bracelets, yes, but the thing is that's why they're entry-level. They have to. I think the movements are quite good, to be honest. People get upset because the 7S26 variants don't have hacking and hand wind. Okay, for an entry-level watch, that's not really important. So I think that the movements are actually quite good in their entry-level pieces, but here's what you got to think about, guys, when we're talking about business. Nothing's free, and so the thing is when a company starts upgrading things, you know what else upgrades? The price. So if you want those watches to stay entry level, you're gonna have to deal with, you know, maybe having to replace the bracelet with a different strap or bracelet, but the movements don't bother me nearly as much as some of the crummier straps do, for sure. I don't like most of the straps that come factory on Seiko watches. HH, what's your Grail watch? Creator Aichi 2, which I will have in my lifetime, I promise you. Huge Grail. Ugh, porcelain dial. So badass. Spencer L, I'm out of here. Peace, peace, peace. Have a good one, bro. Thank you for stopping by. The Creator Aichi 2, and I mean the Vacheron Patrimony Traditionnel Tourbillon, probably. Andrew Pereira, you're the man. You're the man, man. I think one of my T3 bots had a question. Yes, LP. Jory, what's realistically your next Rolex? I've spent some time thinking about this, guys. I would like... So this is gonna maybe blow your guys' mind. Presidents. Very, very hot right now. Very, very, very hot right now. I would like a precious metal Rolex for my next Rolex. So either a two-tone, maybe. But I would like a president. Yellow gold. Aye. Sorry, guys. I just got a phone call from my dad, so I had to pick it up. My bad, guys. But yeah, I would like a white gold would be sick in a president as well, guys. But vintage one, ideally. But who knows? I got some more watches on my list too that I want to knock down before then. But yeah, guys, pretty much done with my Vietnamese coffee. We are going to wrap this up. We've been on for 73 minutes, guys. Dang. But heck yeah, guys. So thank you. I want you guys. I know Milcom says I need a streaming phone. I know. But it wasn't like the last live stream. Last live stream, I think it was last week. I got like I think it was like 6 calls in the middle of the live stream. But anyway, guys, great conversation. Thank you so much for joining me on this Saturday. As always, okay, I want you I want you to do something a little bit uncomfortable today. Get out of your comfort zone, but stay safe. All right. One of the most important ones, please tell someone you love them today. Honestly, that's very important. I'm gonna start it off. I'm gonna kick this off. I love you. All right, I love you guys. Kick it off, and yeah, just have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Life's beautiful. It's a beautiful day out wherever you are. But yeah, be good. Have some fun today. Enjoy your weekend. Spend some time with a loved one. Tell someone you love them. I'm Jory Goodman, the time teller. Always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it. Okay, I'll see you on the next one, guys.